as the Bills now head to week number 4. Already week 4 in the NFL, right? I mean, we wait so long and then bam, 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 it just happens. At 3-0. And they are, folks, they are just looking standings-wise, okay? When I say looking really good, like, yeah, there's things on the field that you need to improve and they need to improve. But, folks, they are looking great in the standings right now. They're only, in the entire NFL, 6 undefeated teams at 3-0. 3 in each conference. The Bills are 1. And when you look at the AFC, there's only 3 each. Three undefeated teams in the AFC. And right now it's the Chargers and Colts along with the Bills. If you look at their schedules, Chargers actually have the Giants. They should beat them, but man, the Giants fighting for their season now. Then they get the Commanders, the Dolphins, and then they play the Colts. They play each other 4 weeks from now. So it's a ways down the road. But if you look at their schedule, it gets a little bit tougher. You look at the Colts and their schedule. They got the Rams this week. The Rams will be looking to really bounce back. There's a game on the West Coast. I think this is a tough one for Indy. Their undefeated start to the season could end right away this week. We'll see. And then, of course, there's the Bills. And the Bills right now at 3-0 have 2 home games coming up. One against a Saints team that they will be. I think what is the line? Is 16? Did I read 16 and a half? Is that right, Owen? Yeah, okay. 16 and a half, something like that. 16 and a half. I mean, the Bills should take care of business against the Saints. It would be a drastic, terrible upset if they didn't. But they go to 4. If they go to 4-0, then you're looking at the Patriots at home on a Sunday night, and the Patriots just can't get out of their own way offensively, turning the ball over yesterday like mad to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the Bills go to Atlanta for a Monday night game, and holy cow, did the Atlanta Falcons offense look terrible yesterday against the Carolina Panthers. Atlanta, through 3 games, has only scored 22 points. So, I mean, what we're looking at here is a real look at 6-0 at the bye. I mean, then you get some reinforcements back in Michael Hoyt and Larry Ogunjobi. When I was doing a lot of the rounds on radio, TV, whatever, during the offseason, going on local radio, other markets, going on national radio shows, whatever, even here on WGR, I would say, people would ask about predictions. What do you think about the Bills? I'm not into necessarily giving you a record prediction. I don't even like doing score predictions on a game-by-game basis, right? And but I did the one thing I kept saying this year. Not that it was just some huge novel concept that only I thought of, but I was very, very real confident that this could be happening this year. The one thing I kept saying was this team is going to get the 1 seed. And one of the biggest reasons was the schedule. Yes, because of them. They're a good team. They have an elite quarterback, of course, right? But they had everything and have everything set up this year for them to get the 1 seed. And it's playing out before our eyes. I think if the Bills don't get the 1 seed right now, it would be a massive upset, to be quite honest with you. I wonder if there is a website I used to go to that would have that. Maybe I can find that, but exactly what the odds are to get the 1 seed. But let's see what it is right here. Buffalo. No, I don't have it. I have the odds in front of me. Someone could find it. But either way, it's got they have to be the number 1 odds to do that. Like that to me is a big deal. And you could say, well, Sal, they've lost at home in the playoffs. Yes, that's right. They did lose to Cincinnati. They did lose to Kansas City at home in the playoffs. I get it. I think Cincinnati was obviously a bit of a different type of challenge because of what happened. Damar Hamlin, they played the previous week. They were gassed. I think they just had nothing left in the tank. Not an excuse. Just think that Cincinnati beat the Bills, didn't get a pass rush that day, whatever. It was a bad loss. Kansas City, I mean, they were trotting out A.J. Klein to cover, Travis Kelce. And one of the things and the reason why was because the Bills had to play that year in the first round. The Bills have lost players in the first round almost every year that they've played in the playoffs, or at least been banged up. To me, it's not just the home field; it's the bye that matters. That's the reason it matters. And if you can get to the end of the year and get that 1 seed, and you can get that bye, you get 2 weeks to rest up, reformulate your game plan, recalibrate. I just think that everything is set up this year for this to happen. And then you have to get there then. And you have to do it. You have to finish the deal, get to the Super Bowl at that point. We're a long ways from that, but you got to start thinking about how this season sets up at some point. And over the next 3 weeks, the Bills have the Saints at home, the Patriots at home, at the Atlanta Falcons, then they go to a bye, then they're at Carolina before a big matchup against the Chiefs here. And how big is that? Well, where will Kansas City be at the time? So last night, the Chiefs, they did not play really good football last night, but they played a team, and the Giants, who played terrible football last night, to be quite honest. Offensively, at least. Offensively, terrible football. I mean, that sequence by Russell Wilson and the Giants offense near the end zone was just terrible, if you hadn't seen it yet. They have a chance to go make it a one-score game with about 3 minutes left, which is still possible. You have the 2-minute warning, and I think a timeout or two still. And they just looked like a team that had never practiced a play inside the other team's 10-yard line. It was terrible. And the Chiefs come away with the victory. We would all love to have seen the Chiefs lose, but man, they don't look anything like what we're used to seeing the Chiefs. Now, that said, remember last year we kind of said the same thing all year. They couldn't get to 30 points last year. And then they did a couple of times, and then, of course, they did in the playoffs against the Bills. But this Chiefs offense looks very, very pedestrian and out of sorts. And last night, passes behind the line of scrimmage they couldn't complete. They didn't even. Mahomes picks it up, and Collinsworth talks about how great of a play it was. A terrible play. Yes, it was good hustle by Patrick Mahomes. Smart. Give him credit for that. Their number one play right now is just chucking it deep to Tyquan Thornton and hoping something happens. So now they have the Ravens next week, by the way. I saw today people debating, who do Bills fans root for when it comes to Ravens and Chiefs next week? And my answer to that is kind of a nuanced answer. I think if the Ravens, you want the Ravens to lose tonight to the Lions, right? And if the Ravens do lose tonight to the Lions, I think root for them to beat the Chiefs next week, because then the Ravens would have 2 losses already, including one to the Bills, so you're already 3 games up on them. Give the Chiefs another loss. But if the Ravens win tonight, I think maybe you root for the Chiefs next week, because then you could still, both teams would then have 2 losses. I think the further you push them down, the better. And the Chiefs are going to struggle anyway to win their division. So I'm not too worried about them catching the Bills, but sure enough, they'll have their opportunity. Because remember, it doesn't matter. Even if you finish with a better record, you got to win your division. And right now, the Chargers look like the better team there. 803-0550 is the number. I think Billy disagrees a bit. He's a little worried about Toronto. He says here, hi, Billy, you're first up on the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show. He's worried about KC, I should say. Go ahead, Billy.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, Sal, I mean, I've said this over and over again, but do teams not have video on Patrick Mahomes? I mean, you're talking about the end of the game. How about the end of the half? If you're 350 pounds and there's a loose ball on the ground, just fall on the damn thing.
I know.
Pick it up so the...
Yeah, I know, but you know what? It's just you're trained. You do scoop and score drills. You're right. I mean, we'd all love to see it. If they would have fell on it, then the Giants would have had a golden opportunity. But the guy has it in his hands. He wants to score. I get it. That's what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, Sal, you say they lost it at the end. I'm in a football pool, a big pool, and I need the Giants to cover this game. I know it's a tough ask, but everybody covers against Kansas City. Everybody knows that from last year. And I need Kansas City. It's 6-6. Of course, the quarterback throws a terrible interception. But the thing that I've said, and I hope Buffalo learns from this, I hope other teams learn from this. When there's 2 minutes left in the half, I don't care if you don't score. I mean, I want you to score, but there was nobody better in football than Tom Brady of either they're getting a field goal or a touchdown or he's running the damn clock out. I kept saying to my buddies, please run the clock down. Don't give Mahomes the ball back with a minute left. Run one play. Make them use their last timeout. But no, they got to throw the ball. Mahomes, who everybody knows when he's cocking his arm at the end of the half, He ain't throwing the football. He's faking for you to jump up so he can run around you. He goes to the sideline, throws an 80-yard bomb. What do we have? Pass interference, field goal with no time left, 9-6 Kansas City, and I went to bed. I said, we should be up 3 to 7 points at the end of the half. But no, they play Mahomes dumb again. He gets the field goal, and of course, Kansas City gets the cover, and I lose my pool.
Yeah, you are very, very upset today about it, and I can tell. I'm very sorry about you not covering. That you are very upset today about this, and I'm sorry that you didn't win. And I appreciate the passion about that. I really do, because you're hot today. Billy in Toronto up there, baby. If people go to work with Billy, you see Billy hanging out, just console him today, okay? Console him north of the border. Thanks, Billy. Let's come back south. Matt in South Buffalo. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Sal. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it.
I just had a question with the suspensions for the defensive linemen being, about halfway over now, and they can start practicing after the Saints game.
Yep.
I'm just wondering what roster moves do you think the Bills will make or have to make to accommodate bringing them back to the active roster? And just one other quick question: is there any discussion on keeping Prater as the kicker, or are they going to bring Bass back, assuming he's healed from his injury? I'll hang up.
Yeah, no problem, Matt. Okay, so these are two separate questions and issues. They're good questions, but let me just give you a generic answer that you're not going to love because it's generic, but it's true. There's still time to sort these things out. There's no pressure to do that right now. And what I mean by that is, yes, just so you know, maybe Matt is understanding the rules. He does understand the rules. What he said is right, but maybe some people are under the impression the Bills have to make a roster move next week when these guys practice. They don't. They're still suspended for 3 more games. Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt. They start practicing with the team. They're back at the facility after next week. The Bills do not have to make any roster move to put them on the roster. They cannot put them on the roster until after week 6. So once that happens, then you're looking at that. We have 3 more weeks till then. Actually, 3 more weeks. After week 3, we just completed week 3. After week 4, after week 5, after week 6. There you go. So basically 3 weeks from today. And listen, unfortunately, injuries could happen, right? So I don't know what roster moves they would make. I would assume at this point, if everybody stays healthy, that maybe Javon Solomon would be a guy that you would probably take out of there because he seems to be kind of the last man on the depth chart there right now of the active players at defensive end. As far as defensive line, that's a really good one. Maybe you just put Ogunjobi on the roster. And by the way, when I say that, I mean active. So let me see. Roster move. They'd have to release somebody, right? So I don't know the answer to that specifically. And I don't know where they would go. But you have to remember there will be probably injuries to have to at least sort through. Now, as far as Prater, again, here's the thing that you have to remember that's different about Bass's situation versus Hoyt and Ogunjobi. Even if Tyler Bass is totally healthy, the Bills have no obligation to put him back on the roster. They can ride this out as long as possible. With an older kicker in Prater, yes, I know he's made some big, long kicks. Maybe you wait until the weather gets a little tougher. Maybe you see where his leg is. You make sure that Tyler Bass is healthy. And then in the middle of the season, you activate Tyler Bass and you move on from Matt Prater. I don't know. Maybe you just keep him in there all year if he keeps making kicks. I don't think it's a bad problem to have, but it is a decision you have to make at some point. So, but the Bills don't have to cross and make that decision next week. Tyler Bass and Max Harrison are both eligible to start practicing next week. Even if they start practicing, either one, the Bills then have 3 weeks to even activate them. Hoyt and Ogunjobi definitely start practicing next week, and the Bills, again, have 3 weeks before they have to activate them. So there's your answer there. I don't know. And when I said Javon Solomon, by the way, I didn't mean releasing him. I guess they could do that. But I meant like active-wise, who's actually playing. But I mean, if you release Javon Solomon or Landon Jackson, they're both subject to waivers, and they're probably getting picked up. So I don't know how you do it.